before you start watching, this isn't a great game. My team was so bad. Like, I had to fight for everything that I got. I had to fight, double check, triple check, make sure nobody was anywhere because they were so awful. I just wanted to let you know before you start watching. Also, I put a link in the description down there to the Make It Rain video. You'd be surprised what all these famous people actually make. God, it really surprised the heck out of me. So make sure you check that out as well. So at work today, I came in and I'm talking to this guy, and he's younger than I am. He's about 22, 23, and he dresses like Russell Westbrook. You ever seen it? The loud clothes, tight pants, bow tie, all this other crazy stuff. And we're talking about this and that, and he gets to telling me about how he was a nerd, and he's kind of telling me the things that he considered to be nerdy. So he played Xbox. He played some stuff on computer and all this other stuff, which I didn't really consider any of it to be nerdy. So after he and I finished talking, I'm sitting thinking to myself, I'm like, well, if he thinks that's nerdy and I think that this is nerdy, then what is nerdy? So I sat there and I analyzed what being a nerd was, what being nerdy was, and after all of that, I came up with 3 different classes of nerds. So the first one I came up with is the classic style of nerd. Revenge of the Nerds glasses. That's where a lot of the fashion is kind of emulated from. But those are normally people who are a little more socially awkward. They may have developed late, didn't have a lot of friends, all of that stuff. So a lot of the time, they're more introverted into themselves. And when you're to yourself, majority of people put that time and that effort into something else. So you may have put it into your studies. You may have put it into playing the violin, the piano, making Facebook, for all I know. But a lot of times where everybody else is out there socializing and running around with friends and doing this and doing that, they are more focused, sometimes almost obsessive about particular things they like. So that is more of the classic style of nerd. The next class that I came up with was what I call the movie nerd. And that's probably my favorite title. I like this one. And I know we've all seen those movies where there's the nerdy kid in class and everybody doesn't like him. He's unpopular, him or her. And they get asked out on a date or it's the big dance. And they get all dressed up and they walk down the stairs and they're all nice and all that. And they take off their glasses and people suddenly realize that that person is hot. So that's the movie nerd. It's the person that is a bit of both worlds. So I think that's where a lot of people see themselves. I personally, that's where I see myself. I am a little bit of both. I'm social. I go out. I've done fairly decent with the ladies. Check my track record there. But honestly, a lot of my focus, especially in high school and all that stuff, is not the typical things that you would have thought of an African American male. Like, I couldn't go out, and even to this day, I still can't go out and have a conversation with somebody about why the 7th season of Star Trek Voyager was the greatest one of all. Or, ask somebody to explain to me what the Higgs boson is. And in case you don't know, the Higgs boson is the elementary particle that they believe to carry mass. That's why they built the Large Hadron Collider and all that stuff. But what I'm saying is my interest became focused in a lot of stuff, like especially in the scientific, sci-fi, all of that area of myself. So I would consider myself in that, and a lot of you are probably in that same class yourself. You're a little bit of both. Now, the final class that I came up with, I consider them the hip-hop nerds. And this is more like the guy that I was talking to at work earlier today. He would be more of a hip-hop nerd. Not just because of how you dress. More of it's an image that they are trying to portray to people. This is the person that I am trying to project myself as. So it's more of a fashion statement than who that person really is. Once you get past the clothes, then that person is actually somebody else. So the hip hop nerd is more of a fashion statement or an image rather than the actual person being a nerd. So those are my 3 classes of nerds. if you would. And I hope I didn't offend anybody, because I didn't mean to. Guys, make sure you hit me up on Xbox. My name is Maxxx, MAXX, like nasty violence. And guys, you can always hit me up on Twitter as well. I got a link for it down in the description. And anybody that's new to the channel, please make sure you click the subscribe button, because, you know, honestly, I gotta be honest, man, I come up with a lot of stuff, a lot of different topics, a lot of different stuff I like to do. So definitely want to share it with as many people as possible. And as always, guys, I like to say thanks a lot.